It's Christmas Day, years 1521, and Maria Alofa, sometimes you may see it spelled as Maria Walofa, is inspiring and educating and influencing her man, her husband, we could say, Gonzalo Mandinga. A planned insurrection is to take place, and it is the first one in all of the Americas. We are talking about the Santo Domingo Revolt on what was then known as the island of Hispaniola. And we're talking about the Dominican half, right? Not the Haitian half. So the DR, the Dominican Republic. And this is a West African group of slaves led by or enslaved, led by Maria Walofa and a team, a power couple, if you ever talked about one, right? In 1521, that planned to catch these enslavers slipping, which they did on Christmas Day, and to kill as many as possible and take over the land. It was not just we're gonna run and create a maroon community. No, no, no. We're gonna engage in trade, all of that. So this is in 1521, the first slave revolt in all of the Americas, called the Santo Domingo Revolt, and it is super IEI, inspiring, educating, influential, which is what Road to Legacy is all about, because it also is giving you some insight into the Black and Hispanic and Afro Caribbean connection all in one, right? We are not a monolith like any other people on the planet. So that's your Black Fact, Road to Legacy podcast coming at you.
Santo Domingo. All right, I didn't know
Santo
that.
Domingo
That's
Revolt.
good. Welcome to the Road to Legacy podcast, Road to Legacy family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here.
Yes, sir.
What's
Yes,
up,
sir.
fellas? How y'all doing?
Grateful, man.
We good. We
Grateful.
good.
Blessed to be awake. Feeling powerful. Got a bunch of books behind me. I got a black fist with like four different types of handcuffs behind me. I'm feeling rebellious. I'm feeling black Latinish and stuff and everything, right? Because we about to get into some things from y'all travels, right?
Oh yeah. So as you all know or may not know, Martin and I have just come back fresh off of a little vacay. I think we were on the same continent. We weren't too far away from each other, right? Same, not too far. Two different countries, but I think Martin, you were in where? Mexico?
Yeah, I was in Tulum, Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula.
Yucatan Peninsula, and I was in Belize and Guatemala.
Two countries.
I was in two different places, maybe
Two for
three
one.
actually.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
one, yeah, one, two
The
different
other one
places
was
in
an
one
in out of
country.
body experience. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, nah, two different places in one country, and then crossed the border and went into another country, which is Guatemala and Belize. They border each other. It's just right, little hop over. Not a little, but it's a long drive over. You know.
Okay.
Um, today is our top 5 Tuesdays.
Yes, sir.
And when we do the top 5 Tuesdays, whenever we go live, we always have a light half, and then we have a heavy half. So I think we're going to start off with the light half first, which is going to be talking about our travels.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
so
And
Kurt,
but, yeah.
have you ever been to Belize, or Guatemala, and if so, what are your top 5 takeaways from that place?
I was so not expecting to go first for some reason. But before before I do that, I got a clever way to stall. We have some book recommendations for you for the month of Black History. Right? As always, we hitting y'all with book recs and film recommendations, and tend to be aligned with the theme of the day. And so this is, or the topic of the day. And this
Mhm.
is our travels in Latin America, Central America. And the continent, by the way, is North America, and Central America is hard, right? Is it South? Excuse me, y'all. Still dealing with the cough, and the surgery recovery is just whack right now. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed. All right, back digress. uh, so first book to recommend that you check out is, nope, not even that one, because you might find Maria Walofa and Gonzalo Mandingo in this one, but I mean Gonzalo Mandinga. Anyways, The African Experience in Spanish America, written by Leslie Rout. Is that it? Right? Yeah, Leslie B. Rout Jr. The African Experience in Spanish America is your first recommendation. And that you check out the table of contents, which I'm not gonna go through, but it goes by country, by region, all throughout from the bottom right of Argentina and Chile to up to the top of Mexico, and even the Aztec community goes throughout the southern and southwestern United States, right, which we call Texas and Baja California, things like that today. Uh, but y'all was in the Mayan Empire, so shout out to that. And this second book though is Crossing the Continent by Robert Goodwin. It's covering or spanning a time frame from 1527 to 1540, and it is about Esteban the Moor or Estabanico. Um, this is so the subtitle, the story of the first African American explorer of the South. Yep, of the American South.
Mm.
Um, so New Mexico is what they're talking about. Parts of Arizona and Mexico is where he settled. He is the second black man to step foot in what is known today as the United States. Second after Martin knows who. Always
Oh,
bringing him up. Who's the first black man to step foot in the
Juan,
U.S.?
Juan.
Yep. On what?
You know, I say his last name. I always mispronounce the last
Garrido.
name. I say Guido, but
Yes.
I say
Yes.
Guido. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Garrido. Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all got it.
And
Y'all got
the
it.
trinket about him is him being able to actually
Mm-hmm.
get beer and bread and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
find in Virginia. So that was deep. But anyway,
Yeah. He was crucial,
so
pivotal to introducing wheat to the United States, which led to the brewery industry and all types of industries. Juan Garrido means handsome John in English, right? Just like Estabanico means little Stephen, or Esteban the Moor means Stephen the Black, right? His name, he has a Muslim name, but then it was Christianized. That's where we get Stephen from. Just to know that about him. So yep, two books about the Black Latin American experience. One documentary recommendation we have for you today is Black in Latin America by Henry Louis Gates Jr. Black in Latin America by Henry Louis Gates Jr. I believe it is a PBS documentary. So that's your book Rex, your film Rex, and maybe just a different voice, tone of voice, to come on and drop their top five about Mexico or something, right? I'm sorry. Alex, I'm lobbing it to you.
back to what we were talking about. The books are excellent. I mean, especially when we're
Okay.
talking about Latin American and Black Americans and how we should be rolling together, which we don't
Mhm.
because we've been so hoodwinked and bamboozled and fooled
Talk about
by
it, Doc.
colonizers and by people who have this agenda that they made up,
Mhm.
white thought, white way of thinking, when there's no such thing as a construct, blah blah blah. But at the same time, when I was over in Mexico, a lot of times I hear us as African Americans talking about we suffered the most in the history of the world. Now, me personally, because I've traveled in the military and I've traveled around the world, I see that. I understand why people say that, but the suffering of others is amazing. That comes from the African way of suffering. So one of the top 5 things that I saw in the Yucatan Peninsula is when
Where
I went to
specifically in the Yucatan were you?
I went to meet. That's what I was about to say. But
I'm sorry.
what I'm saying, I got the road the legacy people, hammering me, rushing me to make me talk about this.
Pointing and everything. Go ahead, bro.
No, so I was in the Yucatan Peninsula, and on my way up to Coba. Coba is a town maybe about an hour from Tulum,
Yeah.
and that's a town that's lived and run by Mayans in that area that don't even speak Spanish. They speak Mayan. I happen to have a friend that went with me that speaks Spanish and Mayan because his mother was Mayan, his father was Mexican, and we went up there. And one of the top 5 things that I've learned is that the Aztecs no longer are around, and the Mayans are. The Aztecs was wiped out by the colonial people who came in and just took them out, which was just interesting to me. Another thing that I learned, number 2, is that the cartels really don't run that area. Of course, they're in the banks, just like the American mafia. They had control over certain things, the cabs, every day-to-day things where people have to pay them off. but I didn't know that they weren't able or allowed to even come next to what the Mayans have so much power within the government. They can't even touch the Mayans and what the Mayans do for Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula. You know, that was number 2. Number 3, the hotels are pristine. I mean, most of the hotels I went to along the beach, because us being in the hospitality industry for all those years, I'm totally, every time I go, I'm just impressed where they're at, where they're located. The commerce also is crazy that goes on around it. That was number 4, is the commerce, the kids that are selling things, the people that are pushing their agendas when it comes to their rights as Mexicans. And part of that, number 4, is how much they love their president. Their president, I can't remember her name right now, how much they love who she is. I don't know if y'all can pull up her name whenever you get a chance, but they talk about their president constantly. And last but not
She was
least,
the one.
the national park. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. She was the one. Go ahead, Kurt.
I was just gonna say, I believe she was the one that recently said, "Oh, you want this?" Before they, Google and all of them bowed, acquiesced, and renamed the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America on their maps. She was the one that
Yeah.
was on the news or something like that, right? Pointing to a map. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we can call all of this California, right? Texas. We can call this Mexico, right? And so yeah, that's how you got to get with these freaking idiots, man. Right? You gotta. Okay, all right. Let's reverse colonize. Let's do it.
and that comes with, like we're talking about now. That comes with travel, and seeing different things, and seeing how things go, and seeing how people accept their people. There's a lot of foreign visas workers in Mexico. I mean, I met some Albanians that worked at the front desk in the hotels. I met some Croatians, some Russians, and they love Mexico and they love being there and living there. And, being where we were over in the Yucatan, it's just hard to understand. I mean, it shows you how it's just such a lie that every Mexican wants to come to the United States of America. The way they screen the border and show the border like people are coming over totally illegal. Yes, there are people coming over illegal, but they show lines. When I was in the military, and I remember that was a long time ago, but I remember they don't show the lines behind they show the lines behind the gate, but they don't show the entrance of the gate, where there's some people, actually a lot of people, most of the people are actually handing their documents over. I've seen that in San Diego. I mean, yeah, I've seen that in San Diego. Even though there are some illegals coming over, sometimes they show that big line where people are trying to break through the fence, but they don't show what's beyond that fence. Sometimes there's a checkpoint right beyond that fence where they're getting their documents, and they're giving their documents, and they're allowed to come into the country for work or whatever, just like the Haitian population in certain parts of the Midwest. And Arizona, they come on through for work. The state wants them to work to make money, and to make the state money.
Okay.
But back to the last thing that was great in Mexico was those parks. Those parks were extremely, they were guarded by police. They were heavily guarded by police because they take their conservation thing, they take their taking care of the animals in the ocean serious. Take care of the pelicans serious. So nowadays you have to pay to go in those parks. So I've stayed in those parks before, other than staying in Coba, and those parks are you feel like you're sheltered, safe from anything that would be going on outside of those gates. But let me tell you, when I walked out into the streets of Tulum, I felt nothing but safety and love and good food. And if you want to go party, you can party. And there's a huge Black African-American following that goes to a few of those hotels in the Yucatan Peninsula to party and to do business. So it was very interesting.
That's dope. Was it your first time going there, Doc, or have you been there before?
This is I've been there before. Yeah, been there before. It's great. Before a couple of times. Oh, last but not least, number six. Everybody should go. If you like to do this stuff, my wife likes to do this stuff, but I don't like to do this stuff. It's the cenotes.
Where's the discipline? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, with the cenotes. The cenotes. That's the last one. The cenotes is underground caves that go down 100 feet deep, and I'll probably
Ooh,
post some pictures on
you got to
on that.
now.
But that was the last
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely. Don't put any romance Hiroshi on there, please. But yeah. You got to do that though.
Yeah,
No
Yes, sir.
yeah.
takes,
It
baby.
sounds like you had an amazing trip, man.
So serious. So true.
Mexico. I haven't been to Mexico yet. It's definitely on the list. But while it's funny too because Martin and I traveled literally on the same day. I think
Right.
his flight was maybe a few hours before mine. Um, and it wasn't planned. It's kind of crazy how that happened. But so Martin went to Mexico, and I went to Belize. Now, let me tell y'all about Belize because when you fly from it was a direct flight. It's about 3.5 hours, maybe 3 hours and 45 minutes. So when you fly from New York to Belize, you actually fly into Belize City. Now, where we stayed in Belize, it was a 2 hour drive from the airport. We stayed in a area called San Ignacio, which is roughly about 2 hours from the airport. And when we stayed in San Ignacio, it was all right. The hotel that we stayed in, I really wouldn't recommend it. It's called Kaana Resort. The room was really nice, but the food was overpriced and the quality was horrible. I was paying New York prices for food that was not even that good. So, but just to go through my top five of Belize in my trip, the first one that I will put down is the ATM tour. Now, pardon me for butchering this, my Mayan brothers and sisters, but
ATM as in
ATMs.
ATM machines.
No, not ATM machines. It stands for Aktun to Nichil Makunal, and he was a incredible Mayan. I'm butchering this because I should have looked this up. But basically, the ATM tour is it takes you into it's a cave tour. So you get on a van, you drive through this beautiful preserved natural historic area where they are farming soursop. If y'all West Indians and my African Americans who are into holistic stuff, soursop, which is a fruit.
Soursop.
Soursop, yeah, soursop. Um, they actually which is a fruit, they use the leaves to heal cancer. So it was actually really beautiful. And so you go and you drive. It's about maybe a 45-minute drive until you get to the caves. They load you up with a helmet, a life jacket, and you have to cross 3 different rivers to get to this cave. And it was beautiful. What was the most impressive thing to me about it was that normally when you're going through these 1,000-year-old artifacts, it would be either encased, it would be closed off, you wouldn't be able to walk through them. When we got into the cave, we're walking by 1,000-year-old fossils that are actually in not in mint condition, but you can see the whole body structure of this Mayan because they used to do rituals inside of that cave. And what I learned is that, when you watch the movies and you hear about the Maya, you see all of these murders. I forgot the Mel Gibson movie that he did,
Apocalypto.
Apocalypto. And you see Mayans doing these sacrifices. So what I learned about it is that the Maya had gone through a long period of prosperity for a very long time. I don't remember the exact timeline, but they only started doing sacrifices when they were in drought, when they started losing crops, they started losing food. And so they would pray to different gods. And so in order for them, what they believed is in order for them to get these things back, they had to do these sacrifices to the rain gods because they were going through major droughts. And when they did these sacrifices, you would think that it was the lower class people that would be sacrificed, but it was actually the upper class folk who were sacrificed, because they believed that when they sacrificed the people to the gods, it was an honor for the people who had money, who were wealthy, like kings and people who were considered in their high class society. They would sacrifice these kids, young kids that had no idea what was happening. We actually ran into a skull that was punctured on the side, and they said how you know that it was a kid's skull is because the skull was very, very small. But most kids that were being sacrificed had no idea what was happening, and they talked about this one kid. I can't remember his name, but you see a indentation in the side of his skull, and the reason why is because they said when they brought him in the cave and he started to realize what was going on. He smelled all these dead bodies, and he tried to run, and they hit him on the side of his head and knocked him out and killed him. But ATM tour, I highly recommend going. That was one of my highlights. My second one was we went horseback riding, and you know, growing up in the Bronx, I never really been on a horse before in my life. I kind of felt like Django. But jumping on the horse, my wife, my kids, and we went probably about 5 miles on this beautiful farmland, going across the river. And to be honest, at first I was kind of shook on top of this horse, because y'all know horses are crazy powerful. I was like, yo, you know, I had to talk to the horse. I pretend like I knew what I was doing. I was like, yo, you know, thank you for letting me ride. It's kind of crazy, but it was
Had a saddle? Had a saddle?
Yeah, had a saddle for sure. I'll put some pictures on our Instagram page. The other thing that we did was that was another top 5 for my trip was whole chance snorkeling. And basically you jump on a boat, you go to the middle of the that's what it's called, whole chan series, not Chinese though. Go to the middle of the ocean. They put snorkel gear on you. You jump off the side of the boat and you're swimming with sharks. Super proud of my kids because they are swimmers. We were in the middle of the ocean for about an hour and a half. They had no life vests on, swimming all the way to the bottom of the ocean, looking at all these beautiful type of fish, coral. As a father, just seeing my kids in the middle of the ocean, man, it was probably one of the proudest moments that I had in investment well spent, having them go to those swimming classes from a young age. And just being in the middle of the ocean, man, swimming with freaking sharks, like literally, not big, massive hammerhead sharks. I forgot the name of the type of sharks that they are. But then after that, we went a little bit further out, seeing sea turtles, seeing all these tropical fish, seeing all of these we went to the Barrier Reef and just swimming and snorkeling, seeing all of this beauty in the ocean. Another top 5 of mine was going fishing with my son. I've never been fishing before. Like y'all know, like I said, I'm from the Bronx. And you know, here we don't really go fishing. I didn't grow up fishing. I never went fishing with my father. So for me and my son to go fishing together was beautiful. We caught some red snapper, and a few other fish. That was dope. And then I would say my fifth experience from my trip and on Top 5 Tuesdays was going to the tour of Tikal in Guatemala to the Maya ancient ruins. Now, that was an incredible experience because first of all, I've never really crossed a border before from country to country, right? We're outside of the US. So for me, when you cross the border, and Kurt, you may know about this. I think you may have done the same thing, but going from Belize over into Guatemala, there's a money exchange. So you got this guy who is at the border crossing with a bag of money. I felt like I was going through some cartel shit. So I'm taking my US dollars. This is where you got to know the currency exchange. Taking my US dollars, and I gave him about 1,000 US, and he gave me back probably about, I don't know, maybe 1,700 of their currency, Guatemalan dollars. It wasn't.
Why didn't you exchange
Huh?
before that transaction? Why didn't you exchange your money? Or did you know or think about exchanging your money for Guatemalan currency, which is I think
Quetzals, yeah.
Quetzales, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Even though
the reason why is because one, they don't really exchange US dollars in Guatemala as much. Plus,
or where you were.
and where I was specifically.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and then the exchange rate would be very, very different. So that's why
Okay.
we changed the money over from US dollars to their currency. And then there was
You
about
said you did change it over.
we did change it over. Yeah, the guy comes
Oh,
with the money bag.
I misunderstood. I asked the question that as if you didn't. My fault.
Oh, no, no, no. We did change the we changed the currency over for sure.
Copy that. Copy that. Yeah, I was basically like, yo, why would you do that? What in the world? Why would you? Yeah, my bad. No, but
Yeah, nah, just
I
to
didn't put it that way.
because there's no real, at
Right.
least in my limited knowledge, there's no real currency exchange for US dollar once you get into the country,
Okay.
unless you're at like the hotel resort where we were staying.
Yeah. Or you in the hood. They got like
Or you in the hood, because the drive the drive there is about a
Yeah, it's a
2-hour
minute.
drive to the
Yeah.
tour of Tikal in
Right.
Guatemala, the ancient ruins. It's a 2-hour drive, so you're not really
Near
stopping
any.
off on the side of the road. Some of the roads are unpaved,
I
you
got
know. I felt safe, but I'm with my family, so I'm paying
Yeah.
attention.
Have
It's a long
wise.
drive, but when we get there to the ruins, it was just truly, truly amazing. We stayed overnight. We woke up about maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Met up with the tour guide. It's still dark outside. We all walking with flashlights. In fact, so you're going through the rainforest, and on the way there, for the first time I saw a big ass tarantula, and I'll upload that on the Instagram as well. Big tarantula. The tour guide was like, "Oh, look, a tarantula!" And then we had to stop because they have the spider monkeys. So the spider monkeys, he told us a little story. In maybe 2010, tourists used to try to call, you know how Americans are, and just people are called the spider monkeys and try to feed them. And it's important for them to preserve just the natural order of the rainforest. But monkeys used to shit on the people. So as we were walking in, he was like, wait. A monkey shitting. So you hearing all this poop come down from the trees, and then we continue. But once we got to one of the temples, they have something that's called a sunrise tour. And basically, when you go to the Mayan ruins, you sit on top of one of the temples, and it's about maybe 4:30 in the morning, and everybody around you is quiet. You're above the trees, and the reason for it is you're watching the sun come up, but you're also listening to the rainforest wake up. So you're hearing the monkeys, you're hearing the birds, and it was just the most beautiful experience for me and the kids. So that is that's my top 5 of my trip to Belize and Guatemala.
That's dope.
How about you, Kirk?
Yeah, man, amazing Kings, and y'all was on the border too of each other. That's the thing. At one point in time, they was like really close to each other, though they didn't connect. Talking about Donald and Martin, so just
Oh
beautiful
yeah, yeah.
how in the spirit, right? Just naturally that has worked out. Right before I got started about Guatemala, I just want to know, Donald, did you have an accent on in the different cities that you was in? Were you putting on accents?
Nah, not this time, because if I had put on a Latin accent, the expectation would be to be able to speak Spanish afterward. And so because I couldn't cross over with that, I just chilled out. I was American as I possibly could, even though I did say, Buenos dias and, Buenos noches and stuff like that. That was about it.
Right.
It's good that you change that money over. In some countries, it's illegal to have foreign money, man. Some countries. I mean, they'll let you come in, but then once you get in there, if you have a certain amount, they can arrest you and put you in jail. I have a friend that went to jail for having US dollars. I think it was in the Middle East. Yeah, it was crazy. So it's good that they let you change the money over at the border. Sometimes they don't go in there, and then you have a certain amount of money and you go a place and then they arrest you. You
Yo,
locked up for a couple.
it's and as a non-traveling, I won't say non-traveling, but for my first experience going across the border, like
Right.
literally walking across the border,
Right.
was kind of crazy because it's not like I'm by myself. I'm with my wife and with my two kids. So, the Bronx and me, I'm like, all right, shit. If something go wrong,
Yeah.
what the hell am I gonna do? And
Yeah.
when you cross, you're literally it's just a walk across the border. And when
Right.
you walk across the border, now mind you, we have a driver, a taxi
Mm-hmm.
driver who's driving us into this place. I don't really know him. My wife doesn't really know him. People
Mm-hmm.
get kidnapped, all kind of stuff. So all of these things are going through my mind. And so when
Mm-hmm.
we cross the border from Belize into Guatemala, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of trucks because it's like the checkpoint spot. So
Right.
I couldn't see my driver. I didn't know where the hell our driver went. So now I'm standing there with my family on the other side of the border in Guatemala. All these damn trucks, everybody speaking Spanish. My Spanish is not that good. I got that broken Puerto Rican Bronx Spanish. My wife, her Spanish is okay. So we're basically in a whole nother world. And it's like, yo, if something were to go wrong, God forbid, I'm gonna have to try to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? You know how men think.
Most
I'm the
definitely.
protector.
Most definitely. It's a
So
different trip. It's a different type of travel.
yeah, very
It's
different.
perfect segue. If I come in and just say it's a perfect segue into what the backpacker travel is, and backpacker travel is in you was backpacking with your family though and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's like backpacking for me was always more freeing when I was solo versus when I was meeting my lady. And Morocco was the worst experience I've ever had. Or because they all Fatima, 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 right? Like yeah. Like, anyways, that's a whole nother story.
Mm,
I gotta stay in Guatemala, and but it's just different, right? Because you just a little bit more alert. I don't know where I'm going at this. I speak some Spanish, right? In Africa, nah, and everything, right? It was either you speak Arabic or do you speak Francais and everything, right? No English. And so for the
mm,
most part, so you need to figure it out. And there's a lot of it's like being in Times Square where we were staying at. There's a lot of hustlers trying to get bread, trying to pickpocket. There's a lot of that taking place. Big crowds, Jamina Alfina Square Market. So, anyways, that's a little Moroccan injection. But why I say backpacking or blackpacking, because not that this is just uh exclusive or subject to black people or black men in general, what I'm about to say, but what inspired me about the black packer, right, is traveling on my own and crossing borders, not Guatemala, but Colombia to Peru and back, right, and not know, and I'm traveling first in Medellin, right, so I know a little something here. I'm talking about the first time I did this, right, and this,
mm,
yeah, first time I did this by myself, if you will, and that is where I saw the backpackers that I was staying with in the hostel had a very big influence on me, if you will, and education, in terms of how to move um, financially, right? And get the bang for your buck, right? From food to travel, all of that. Uh, but also just, me on my own, my smarts, right? Coming in like, okay, I see cats is about the money. I need to know how to speak money. I need to know how to
mm,
add math and change quick, fast and stuff, right? You need to focus just on that. You need to know directions, anything like that. So you just so that it help because I mean, bro, I got dropped off one time and on the way to a mud volcano, uh, Lodo del Tutumi, and it's like in between Cartagena and Barranquilla in Colombia, right, in the northern coast. And I got dropped off like on the road. Let's say we was on I-95 and just dropped off, and now there's just a pathway. I see no volcano in sight. He told me go that way. Like it's a beer. Like let me go that way. So I'm like, just that way. All right. All right, mad scary, bro. In terms of, I got that's like one of the few bits of footage that I got left from Colombia. But anyways, man, I say that to say, walking circumspect, traveling circumspect, and having a bit of fear of the unknown because we not used to traveling like that, right? So, um, my top five, just to segue back to Guatemala now. I was there, good people, back in 2016, right? And this is my last international trip that I've ever taken was a trip that encompassed Guatemala to South Africa to Morocco, right?
mm.
Part of it I was solo, part of it I was with an ex lady of mine, right? Amazing trip, all in all. Uh, I'm gonna go backwards from 5 to 1. It's not necessarily in order, but it's just all right. So top five, my number five might be in order. Number five, I'll say is from takeaway with Guatemala is that I was never intended to go to Guatemala. This is one of the most it's learning moments, humbling moments, heartbreaking moments, and challenges, tests that I had to improvise in the sense that I had a planned trip and things booked to go to Brazil for about 2 weeks from Rio to Sao Paulo to Florianopolis, right? Because I heard that there's a lot of Victoria's Secret models in Florianopolis. So I just wanted to be around them. Um, and yeah, I had things booked, man. Travel, all of that. Booked intercity travel in Brazil. And this was 2016. They had a I'll just say I'm at my layover in Orlando, right? From JFK to Orlando or LaGuardia to Orlando MCO. And I'm waiting around, chilling, eating, and then it's time to go to the, boarding gate, hand my ticket, my pass over, I mean my pass show my ticket, my passport. And she's like, okay, visa? I was like, no, no, I'm not going to stay or work or whatever. I'm just going to travel. She's like, yeah, yeah, you still need visa. I was like, nah, nah, you serious? I need a visa just to go travel, and then, right? So this is not a thing anymore. But in 2016, we had a visa on them for some reason, political, and so they naturally did a reciprocity visa on us. This was during the Olympics too, right? And Joe's sister tried to, anyways. I ain't gonna go too distracted, but yeah, man, I spent a good maybe 20 minutes crying somewhere in the lobby trying to figure out what to do. My ex is very inspirational and influential in terms of like, all right, look, man, we're gonna get it together. You're gonna stay somewhere near the airport, and we're gonna see where you're going next, right? I hit on Skyscanner from MCO airport to anywhere for less than $200. That's what I put in, right? And a few places came up. Guatemala came up, and I'm, interested in very, yeah, just curious of Latin American history, Mayan, Incan in particular, but Mayan, Incan, Aztec history, and it just was a wonderful opportunity, right, to add to my Latin American travels, right, from Colombia and Peru. Boom. All right. I've seen the Incan, now I can see some Mayan, right? I haven't seen any Aztec, but checking off. That's just ideas for good people, right? Check out the three countries. I mean, check out the three empires, varying countries. But yeah, it taught me resilience, man. I wound up spending 2 weeks in Guatemala, 2.5 weeks in Guatemala, and from 4 on up to 1. I'm just saying I'm blessed and grateful because it was a spiritual experience. Why that happened, wasn't able to go to Brazil. I spent time in Guatemala and had the greatest time of my life, and it was all off the cuff, right? So that was some real black packing, if you will. Okay, just me and Patty, which is Patagonia. I'm sorry, sis, I done left out. It's not somewhere, but yeah, man. So that's number five, just the resilience that it taught me, the humbling moment, and just the going with it, the black packerousness of it. So that's that. Number four, I would say most definitely just the people in general, right? From the hostel, my homies in the hostel, mad Australians, just a great party town in Antigua, right? I mean, but the people just so hospitable, so warm, and that's why I go
Yeah.
anywhere. Right, also a part of the Black Packer philosophy and backpacking, just in general, man. When I was at the hotel, I met so many cool Australians, cool South Africans. That makes me want to go to these places where I see cool people from, right, and learn a little bit more about the culture, especially from black angles, if possible, which we're gonna get to that. But yeah, so my number four is just the people and the culture of Guatemala and how hospitable it is. But you can say that for many other countries too, to be clear. My third, I would say, is oh, I'm sorry, but just on that people point, I ran into a brother named Kawa Cobb. This is an Israelite brother who I had heard much about as a kid as being a powerful speaker and could always
Mm.
amass good crowds, right? My father would talk about him and how he was inspired by him. Never met him, never saw him, right? I just know the name. And this brother popped up on me when I was talking to one of my hostel mates, if you will, right? A black dude walking up and just, like this from way down on the cobblestone road. He was like, "What's up, brother?" I was like, "What's up, man?" And everything. He was like, "Oh, I thought you was somebody I knew." We get into like a 45-minute, 55-minute type conversation. It's beautiful from just Guatemala and traveling and the word. We start touching on that. Then we exchange info. And he's spelling his name and he goes K A W no, either CHAAWAV or KAWAV. B, and I go Kaw. Sorry, Akaab, whatever. Kawakab is the name, right? This is sort of Phoenician Hebrew, not Yiddish, not European in any way, just so you know. And but we could talk on that at another time. I never bothered with y'all on my Hebrew name. But so when he says that and he drops his name, I'm telling him, I says Kawakab. And yo, now we talking for another 30 minutes, King. So when I say the people and just the spirituality of how this happened, I wasn't planning to go here. And here I go meeting the
Ah.
man. And I call my father, right? Bless my pop soul, man, right? Call him. This is through Viber, because Viber was a thing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he sees Kawakab, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." And my pop's Hebrew name was Gabal Moth. He was like, "Yeah, I remember Gabal," and just it was crazy, brother. That's I got footage, all of that. We'll always remember that. So in terms of the people mad experiences, man, I could keep going
Yeah.
on and on, right? But number three, I'd say is the amount of volcanoes, and I hiked a volcano called Volcan Acatenago, right?
In
Uh,
Guatemala.
Yes, yes. There's about 137, I believe. I think it's the most
What?
populous nation in Central America or
I
maybe
didn't
in
know
the
that.
Americas of volcanoes. Double
I
check
didn't know
that,
that.
but it's yeah, it's well over 100. Yeah, yeah, and that, you can
Yeah,
you can see that when you go to multiple Central American countries. But go ahead, we was saying.
no, no. I said we didn't see any volcanoes because we
Oh
were
yeah, y'all
very
wasn't in that.
specific
Yeah, y'all
spot.
was in Belize for the most part. Yeah, y'all went to. That's a real. It's out there, right? And I'm gonna get to Tikal and stuff, right? But it's out there for a reason, and I'm gonna elaborate some more on that. But so I'd say that was number three. Is hiking that, and why this is related to my fifth, right? That I had given already about the resilience and stuff. Is because I part of why I was crying so hard too wasn't just financial. I just had my third spinal surgery, right? About six
Mm.
months prior. And so this was me, I just type of spirit again, black packerism and stuff, right? Like, yo, bounce back, get up. Yeah, and go do something that's unexpected, right? Rods just put back fresh in my spine, right? And so hiking Volcan Akatenango um was an amazing experience, man. And plus it was a chance to get footage again of me hiking up a mountain or a volcano like so much of the footage that I lost on my hike up the steps through Machu Picchu in Peru, right?
Mm.
So it was just opportunity. It was all of that where this trip was amazing. So that's my third. I'll say is the volcanoes and Volcan Acatenango in particular. Number two has to be Livingston, Livingston, Guatemala. I went there after Antigua, Guatemala.
Mm.
I was heading to Lake Atitlan, but a brother that we used to work with, fellow bellman, doorman named Nico,
Mm-hmm.
right? A Colombian British brother. I think he's somewhere in Georgia, right? And stuff, starting a new religion. And let me stop messing with him. But that being said, yeah, Nico called me on Viber while I was in Antigua, Guatemala, and he's like, "Yo, man, where you going next?" I was like, "I think Lake Atitlan or Samuk Champe, somewhere with water, even though brother can't really swim, or stay afloat." But I was going to one of those spots, and yo, he's like, "Yo, you should go see our people out there. You should go see our people out there." And I was like, "Our people out here? Who's that?" And he's like, the Garifuna, the Garifuna. I'm like, the
Yo,
Garifuna and everything.
thank
What?
you. That
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
go
know I
ahead.
was gonna bring it to you. You know it's gonna bring it to you, yo,
Yo,
because I ain't
I
even
forgot
know.
about
Go ahead,
that.
go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
That's in my top five now. Keep going, King. Keep going. Keep going. I don't mean
Yo,
to interject.
Livingston, Guatemala is where the Garifuna live and are really based out of in Guatemala. This is a black community. West African connections are strong, like the Gullah Geechees of the South in America. They have their own language, like how Martin was vibing on. Their language is Garifuna, right? Garifunan.
Mm-hmm.
They are based though throughout Honduras, Belize, and Guatemala, right? So I was in
Mm-hmm.
Livingston, Guatemala, took a boat ride. The boat was my first time seeing a little boat stop for gas at a Shell gas station. Never been in, city boy, man. Oh, snap. Yeah, yeah, of course there's gas stations for boats, right? But that was just, yeah, that was like a 2 hour boat ride in this little thing, man. And like, yo, this little thing could puncture, like, yeah, but whatever. We made it grace of the Father, and that was an amazing experience. You know, yeah, man, it was well worth it. And I had took a cooking class. I learned that a lot of Garifuna live in the Bronx. I saw and I had witnessed. I bear witness to that from just recently living in the Bronx. Right, you just speak to people. So that's the second for me. Do you want to say something before I drop my first top one? On
Yeah, I want to
yeah,
say something specifically about the Garifuna people, man. We
yeah.
went to a restaurant in San
Hmm.
Pedro,
Okay.
which is also Belize, but you got to take a little charter, like a 10-seat charter plane there, like 15-minute plane. But
Right.
there's a restaurant that I have to shout out. It's called
Yes.
Black and White. That's the name of the restaurant. It was so dope. Had some Garifuna food. My kids
You
got to
would
play.
would you have tapado? Did you have
Uh
tapado fish soup? Some good coconut red snapper fish
yes,
soup.
yes,
Tapado.
yes.
That's what my cooking class was. I took that,
Yo,
man. Yeah, 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 yeah,
food
yeah.
off the chain.
Yep.
Off the chain.
Yep.
Then
The
they had a
garifuna.
Garifuna, a drummer. So the
Yeah,
kids got
yeah,
to
yeah.
play,
All of
play
that.
with the
All of that. I
drum,
got footage.
play
I
the
got footage,
drums.
King. See,
Yo,
we
with
gotta
the
pair up the
turtles,
footage.
they got the turtle shells. They played with the turtle shell. Yo, it was off the chain. I
Yes,
thank you for
yes.
reminding me
You
about
know
the
it. You
Garifuna
know it,
people, bro.
man.
I was
I mean, it's
crazy hyping
beautiful
there. That was
because it's
actually part of my
yep.
top five. It's hard
Yeah,
to
yeah, man.
believe
Throw it in.
it.
But Martin cheated. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you within your rights and stuff.
Bang my
No.
damn knees. So excited.
Yeah, oh, they speak. I'm sorry, they speak Garifunan. They speak English very
Mhm.
well, and they speak Spanish, right? Some may speak another one, just but definitely they tend to speak there. So that's trilingual, multilingual. Love that,
And they
and
have their
yeah,
own
man, they're
flag.
amazing.
They
On
also
flat,
have their
all
own
that, all
flag.
that, and just to show point out a bit of discrimination, at least in Livingston, is when you get to when the boat arrives at docks, right? You're at the it's a hill, but at the bottom of the hill is a city. But this is mostly the Mayans that live there, right? Mayan descent, if you will, right?
Mhm.
I gotta get back to y'all on their particular name, right? But you could just say that's Mayan down right there at the hill, at the bottom level, and up the hill that you gotta hike up to is where the black Garifuna are, right? So just so you understand, there's always forms of discrimination, even topographically, geographical
Mhm.
discrimination, right? Making me have to hike. It ain't like there's a cable car, tram, or anything like that going up. So yeah, it's just interesting to see those dichotomies. Always want to point out that dynamic. But yeah, man, I love tapado, coconut fish soup with green bananas. I love graffiti, some strong, crazy, strong medicine tasting drink and stuff, right? But to get the
Yeah.
party going, yeah, man.
What
Nah,
would do you remember the name? You remember the name of the drink? Because
graffiti,
it was a shot.
graffiti. Yeah, it's clear.
Oh man,
Yep,
yeah, that joint
yep,
was good.
yep,
I took one
yep.
hit and
G
I was
U
like, oh,
I F. It's like graffiti, but GUIFFITI. I think. Yeah,
I took a
graffiti,
shot
but
of that and I was like, oh, this is real nice.
yeah, man, it's amazing. Just like Dominican Republic got Mama Juana. Just every country got
Hmm.
their thing. But number one for me, y'all, is Tikal that you mentioned, right? Tikal is the city of echoes. I have amazing footage from there, and yeah, I love ruins. Ruins are one of my favorite parts of history. Between ruins, like y'all know, brother is a tour guide, right? The Black Packer tour. Shout out to it. Definitely coming soon when this weather is a little bit more cooperative, but it's getting there, man. It's been got some consistent 50s. So yeah, all that's in the works, Senecaville to San Juan Hill. But quick plug. Outside of that,
Absolutely.
uh Tikal, um, Tikal is a ruin, right, or a city that's far out, right, and it's called the City of Echoes. That's what Tikal means. But now, if you think in terms of the reason why I plug the tour guide thing in there is because my favorite places to really take people to are house museums, like the Wyckoff House Museum, right, and see where slave quarters were, what were possible, see slavery in New York, but also take you to Underground Railroad locations, Pell Manor, right, Van Cortlandt Mansion, right, as well as just house museums that are all around Skank House Museum and Lot House Museum. So it's because you're not just it's one thing to tell you something. It's just a completely different thing for you to be walking on history, walking inside of touching it, right? And that's the difference of a the our four walls of our classroom are outdoors, right? The world is our classroom. That's the difference of that type of education versus that four corner indoor education system that is so rigid. But yeah, man, the Tikal, the City of Echoes. I had the same. Yeah, it's few places I don't speak like this, like hearing the voice of God. I didn't hear the voice of God. That's for one. But when I had my experience with the sunrise, the steps, and so narrow. I got to fear heights, right? But challenge that. I got to
Yeah.
fear flying. I fly all over the place, right, with these trips and stuff. Donald can attest to my my fear of looking out, you know, looking out the window.
Go
That's
to
a whole.
Chicago.
He was like, "Oh snap! Well, he not playing. Got to get this on film. This is what you can count on your brother to do." But, yeah, man. We were there, so you know, like we drove 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And there by, or maybe it was like 3 o'clock, and we got there by like 4 something 5, definitely right before sunrise. And the sun was, I mean, like it was clear, it wasn't cloudy. It was a lot of overcast when you were there, right?
Yeah, a lot
But
of
yeah,
overcast.
yeah. So this was clear. I got the footage of that. You see the sun coming up, and I'm like, oh snap! Look how high we are above the tree line,
Above
right?
the tree
That
line. Yep.
above the tree line, yo. It's so crazy. And you know, it, it it was people talking. It was a big group. Everybody was mad cool with each other. One dude was mad fly with a fedora on, shades, sweater, collar. You don't look like he's hiking, and he got donut and coffee and stuff, right? Like, where'd you get it? Your stuff look warm and hot. How, bro?
Yeah,
What do
I
you
know
have
how
on you
where you
and
got
stuff,
that.
right? But he was relaxing, and I'm filming, and then it got quiet for a moment as the sun was rising, bro. And so this is just one of those, you know, rare moments for me where I felt I was having a spiritual experience in terms of feeling the Most High, feeling the Lord, feeling God. As far as just quiet, it was, and I just really felt City of Echoes, and you know, just thank you, right? More so, let's just say, yeah, I've never sort of meditated on Psalms 46:10 like I did in that location where it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Right. So even though this is a place that is in honor of other gods, right? The Transformer and stuff on the side of the wall. Is somebody, you know, Transformer, y'all. If you ever get to Cal, look for the Transformer face on the side of the temple. But, yeah, it was just amazing. So that's my top 5 things, man, about Guatemala. I love it, and it's one of the most game-changing experiences in my life.
Yeah, man. Mine too, for sure. It hands down has been one of my favorite trips out of all the trips that I've taken places is to
Hmm.
Guatemala and Belize, man.
Hmm.
Just so beautiful, man. Talk about, you know, we were talking about being able to see parts of history and just
Right.
walking past, you know, ancient artifacts. Is just truly amazing, man. I would do it 1,000 times over again, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
We got to do it together.
yeah, we should. That should be a road to legacy trip, bro. But talk about those stairs, those steps.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was sending you
Crazy.
some. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like this,
man.
this wide.
Right. Right. What were your calves made of? How we
Yeah.
need images of the calves.
How big
We
was
need
your
imagery.
foot?
We need calf imagery. Yeah, man. Yo, bro. They had these runners in Machu Picchu, the Incan Empire. They had these runners under the ledges on these 2,000, 3,000 feet high mountains, ledges like this big. These cats used to be running, delivering messages, running on that thing, man. Right? And it's like, yo, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Me, I was
Well,
crawling.
they're former basketball. They're former basketball where we got our from. Throw the ball to the
Yo,
little hoops.
that is a
Okay,
great
okay.
point. I don't.
Dig
Yo,
it.
thank you for bringing that up because I don't know if
Hmm.
you heard this too, Kurt. When at the Mayan temples, where some of the temples they used to, that's what they played basketball.
They
They
have a
played
little hoop.
basketball,
They
bro.
have a
Yeah, they
hoop.
had a little
Yeah,
hoop.
what's the name? I don't know
Yeah.
the name of
It
that.
was it
That
wasn't
game.
it wasn't the same though as basketball. But
Right, but they
It
do
was
it to
yeah,
similar,
it was their
the
own
ball
game.
to
Yeah,
way
yeah,
home.
before we
yeah,
thought
yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah.
We
Because
probably
they go
stole
from
it.
by the way, like 900 BC, I think, to about 1250 or 1350 AD,
Well,
Hmm.
right?
everybody,
The Mayans.
everybody out there listening to what we're talking about, there's one tool that you need to do these things, and less than 20% of African Americans have this, and that is this thing right here. It's called a passport, right?
Is that true, bro? Less than 20%?
Less than about 20% of African Americans have it, and I think there's 45% of Americans overall have it, but it's only a
Hmm.
small amount of us that have these. And one of the barriers of it is that it's $165, right? That's how much it costs to get a passport, I think, plus other fees. But the reason why people don't have this is because that's one of the barriers. But you can go online, and what you can do as an African American that can't afford a passport or can't afford to get one, if you can, please do it, is that there's all types of initiatives of people from LinkedIn to just regular people on Instagram that African Americans, that are black people, that will
Hmm.
pay I help you pay for it. So, you just got to do
Craigslist.
the research. Craigslist. I mean, there's a lot of people that will actually come out their pocket. You said
I'm
Craigslist.
playing, not Craigslist, bro.
A
Lord
lot of
Craigslist is
people,
a good old passport. That's for sure.
a lot of people will come out of their pocket when it comes to black travel agents that want you to learn, that want you to go ahead and and get a
Something
passport.
brothers is working on over here, man. IATA
I think
card.
one of the women's name, her name is Bashir. I can't remember her last name, but if you go to LinkedIn and look for Imani Bashir, I think it is, you can find her. And then she was one of those women that actually pays to get you your passport so you can travel.
Okay.
So it's something to know, because we can talk about this, but people need this right here.
Right. You're absolutely right, bro. Love it, man.
Extremely
Education,
important.
King. Insight.
And if you think you're going to run from this country or whatever, you need one of these to get out.
That's a fact.
And to get in.
And it's 34% of African Americans who have a passport.
Can we get a source?
Yeah, absolutely.
From either one of y'all.
Source. The source
I don't know
is
what one I'm using either.
YouGov today. YouGov.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got one more source?
Hispanic Americans have 55%, white Americans 42%, and African Americans 34%. Yeah.
That number's probably been on the rise too, to be honest. Probably,
yeah.
I would think.
I think
so
that number
probably far less, maybe a decade or two ago. No, it's not. But shout out to people that's already been inspiring, like Travel Noir, been trying to increase Black travel, and a few other groups.
And just to make it clear, the barrier is $165. That's a lot of money for
financial. I mean, I did this one time on Facebook, man, an old video about our top 5 things that keep us from travel. Financial, I definitely listed up there, or maybe I was saving it for like a whole thing on finance. But fear is a big thing. So, when I was going to Colombia, my father was like, "Yo, but ISIS is out here now doing their thing." I said, "ISIS, Colombia, pop? Are you serious right now?" He was really trying to talk me out of travel, just out of because of the way I was traveling and by myself, and so just fatherly overprotectiveness. He's like, "Yo."
Every time I went to Africa, they told me not to go because there was some people say they're gonna eat me, some people say I'm gonna get Ebola.
Right.
All Black people telling me this from my family all the way down. And it's funny because the professors in my family told me, "Yo, look, just don't romanticize wherever you go, because everybody's human, and it's people do what they got to do. That's all you have to remember." Yeah. But it's just so crazy because then when I talk to, certain white people, they're like, "Yo, go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go out there."
See the mindset. See, that's what the role is, King.
That's
the
mindset, man.
You gotta go, and when you get there, that's where you gotta go. That's what you gotta do. Don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid of that.
There's so many different fears, King, and you gotta attack it head on.
Right. But I can't say it more. Gotta get one of them.
Like my pop had one of those, right? But I'm using him. This is best friend, man, all that, y'all know, right? And we still in the month in which he passed 5 years ago today. So just shouting him out. And he said, basically, I think he may have flown once, maybe in his entire life. Fear of flying, right? Usually he's going somewhere that's on a train. He take a train multiple states, right? The Amtrak or the bus. Been on cruises. But yeah, flying, nah, he wasn't with it. And I got an issue, man. Nerves, all of that, as far as speed in general, let alone flying. This the takeoff and the landing, right? That man, I done watched every season of Air Disasters on top of that. So yeah, man, it's
that's why you're afraid to fly, man.
That's not gonna help you.
Crazy. I haven't seen any crashes. I don't watch none of that, man. I don't even watch it.
The largest airplane crash in history didn't even happen.
You talk about this now?
These planes didn't even take off.
This.
Oh yeah, let's go out with a bang. I mean, no pun. Let's
no, everybody listen to Curtis, but don't listen to Curtis. Get on the plane and fly somewhere. A boat. Don't worry about the shark eating you. All that stuff.
Because Donald, you hear him right? We gonna swim with the shark.
Yeah, we swim with the sharks. I'll show the footage.
Black Tracker. Today, when it comes to flying, fly. You're more likely to get in a car accident than
No, it's so true, man. It was in Tenerife though. It was like 535 casualties. They never even
Are you
left the
serious? Are you
ground.
serious?
Yeah, 2 big
Are you
jumbo
serious,
jets. This is the
Curtis?
largest to this day.
Are you
Yeah, man.
serious,
I told you I
Curtis?
watched
Curtis,
every
Curtis,
episode
Curtis,
of air disasters. It's taught
Curtis,
me so much
Curtis,
about
Curtis,
aviation
Curtis, Curtis.
and
Look,
aerodynamics.
everybody get this passport. Don't let that man scare you from doing it,
He
man.
said, "Are you
Don't
serious?"
let him do it, man. Don't let him do it.
Listen,
Especially
okay.
my brothers and sisters in the South, because my brothers and
Yo,
sisters, in the South don't have this, and they definitely ain't flying nowhere. And it does not help that
he
the Black
froze. He
Packer
froze.
is telling you about air collisions. Yo, B, go get
No,
on a
they
plane,
didn't take off. They
fly.
never made it off ground. Okay.
See, that's even worse. Go and fly. Do not listen to the Black Packer. Be inspired and influenced.
And educate.
Yeah, educate that most planes do not do
We about
minutes
to get
off
into
the
the heavy
ground.
half, man. Let's
I
get
got
into
off
this
the
heavy half.
ground.
But I
I
want
got
to,
back.
shout out to him. Yo, get a passport, enroll in the STEP program if you go into it. Then you never know about kidnappings and whatnot. So just enroll into the STEP program. He like, oh, you really trying to discourage travel? Huh? It's DI. It's DE.
And another thing, a lot of lower income
Oh my
people
gosh.
don't have
Yeah.
IDs in the South, so they don't
And
even
also,
know
if you got to
how to
charge,
get
bro.
ID.
You got a
So
case.
please, people,
Can't
don't be afraid to go get an ID. And my Southern brothers and sisters, go get a passport. Most of the people in the South
And my
don't
brothers
have passports.
brothers and sisters that done, made a turnaround and made it through, did a bit, whatever, made it through the system, but you being discriminated against in that way. Work on getting that record expunged.
Situations cause the problem.
Work on getting that record expunged, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right to people and stuff, but yeah.
Definitely get a passport, yo. If y'all can get a passport, go get a passport. Travel. It's the best education in the world. Get outside of your environment, your community, your neighborhood.
So we're pivoting off of that, and where we heading to now, guys? What are we going to talk
about? It's about to get heavy.
Yeah, just one thing. Is I wanted to add a 6 for Guatemala because y'all both added a 6. It's only right. 18. It's the right number. Right. So my 6th is I didn't tell y'all. This kind of goes with 4 as far as the people and the culture. McDonald's. The greatest McDonald's, one of the greatest McDonald's in the world that I've ever visited and stuff, right? I mean, it's not even just about the architecture of the building. There is a volcano and a backdrop, Volcan, is it Volcan Fuego? I forget, right? But beautiful volcano in the background. This is where you can eat outside. The menu, yeah, man, the menu is beautiful. The chicken tastes different, right? But
there's a different chicken. Man. And they know all the chemicals in it. It's the chicken from the back of the McDonald's. They just grabbed that boy by his throat and they brought him in there and cooked him up. They didn't get
just recently, just that day.
Chicken from the Ukraine. They didn't get the pre-frozen chicken from Ukraine. They actually got real chicken from the back.
Oh man!
I mean, I went to a McDonald's.
I'm listening.
Zurich. I went to a McDonald's in Zurich, and it was the same thing. Excellent.
Oh, in Zurich, in Switzerland? Oh, you was in Switzerland?
Yeah. I went to McDonald's in Zurich. It was good. Right there, when you get off the train and you walk right down the main street towards the lake, it's just it's just really, really, really good. So that was really good, man. I mean, excellent.
Okay.
So everybody out there, we were talking a minute ago about getting your passport. Go out there and get it. Don't miss out on this stuff. Don't miss out.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. You'd be surprised the experiences.
Oh, you'd be totally surprised at the experience. So yo, man, check
getting
this
heavy,
out.
brother. We getting heavy.
I don't know if we're getting heavy or not, but I just want to know what you think about Charles Q. Brown.
Oh, C.Q. Brown.
The brother that was fired, like many other people, by this administration, who is overly qualified for the job, and replaced with a person that is got, they served, but they were not on the level of General Brown.
Right. What was his military background? Is he
General Brown was in the Air Force, but also he just has so many different honors where there's so many soldiers, plus including the guy who actually took his place that said that they would die for him.
He inspires that type of loyalty.
Yeah. People will die for him. And he's the type of soldier that would make me go back to the military. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's the type of airman, not a soldier. He's the type of airman that if I was younger, I would be back in if he was running it.
Oh, is soldier only used for army?
Even, yeah, you got soldier, you got sailors, and you got airmen.
Okay. And Marines.
Right? Yeah, and then but Marines are considered sailors too because they're part of
okay.
they're part of the Navy. So yeah, you can call them Marines, but they're sailors.
Got you.
So I mean, even if he was with Trump, I would still join the military because he was running the military, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and all that. But they all come talking about basically. I've heard. I don't know if this is true. They've all military people have come to the meeting saying what's going to happen if this happens, because Trump was calling him like a woke general, which is a racist term.
Yeah, he's a black general, so he's a woke general.
Right, which is a racist term to do it. But not only did he fire just him, he fired not him, but the administration fired so many people and are making a shift in the United States government where a lot of people are afraid and they don't know. I mean, did you see they might start counseling town halls? Did you see the town hall with out there in Texas? Was it Texas with white America? And they were talking to their senators about what's going on here.
And they was pissed off, right?
People are like, what if we did not vote Elon Musk in office? We voted Donald Trump. And you have to talking to the senators, Republican senators, you have to take the reins and congressmen of this man. You're going to let him get away with doing this to us? I say now that America's basically seeing how it is to be black in this country and learning very quickly how, especially white middle-class women, they're learning how quickly it is what happens when you have people oppressing you and against you. And I think that we're going to be fine through this and resilient, even though we're going to lose a lot and we're going to have to deal with a lot of pressure. But we've been through this before, and they haven't. And that's going to be the scale of where we have to balance what we do is what happens with what. So I'm watching white people right now in the South very closely to see what they're going to do, to see how it's going to affect us. And if they stand up, then we're good. But they need to continue to stand up. But they're saying they're going to cut out town halls.
What are you most scared of with all of this?
I'm not really petrified, but what I don't want to happen is for my aunts, for older people to lose their not their Social Security, to lose their waivers, their Medicaid waivers. And a Medicaid waiver is something, a Medicare waiver, any waiver from the government that helps your parent or your loved one, which allows them to use their Social Security and get benefits from the government to actually live, to actually be taken care of, to actually, my aunt has dementia. I mean, and I know so many people that are going through that, where nurses come in and they take care of your loved ones through government assistance, Medicaid waivers and stuff like that. So that's my number one. Number two is veterans. And it's not for me because I'm not a sick, hurt veteran that's taking benefits, but for veterans to continue to lose their benefits, which they've already lost. And if that happens,
you're talking about these number two things that you are scared about. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, as Medicaid, Medicare being taken away, Social Security being cut to give more money to the rich, right? And last but not least, I lost my train of thought. But the next thing was dang, I just lost my train of thought. But it's just that the benefits.
Okay.
That what was this? That's your top five?
Nah. He was his top couple fares.
You went away. You sounded off and you left, and then we changed the topic and you came back.
No, I know we're in the top five heavy.
We didn't into the heavy half.
Yeah, we're in the heavy half. I just
he didn't get into his top five yet though.
Yeah, so, we didn't get into it yet.
Start.
Yeah, we can start that right now. Let's get into it. Let's get into the heavy. Let's get into the heavy top five. So the top five, the heavy part of the conversation, y'all. Whoever's
all three of us, right? We agreed.
All three of us are listing the top
so
five, not
RTL's
top for each
five.
of us. RTL top five
Crazy
events
political events
that has happened in the
since
since Trump basically
since the
has.
return of Trump, since ROT return of Trump, since rot,
Yes.
and the man is orange, right? Getting more orange by the day, right? Brain rot. What was the word of the year? Donald,
The, the
2024.
the word of the word of the year, ladies and
According to
gentlemen,
who?
is
According to who?
yo, I'm just laughing because I just find it super funny. Uh and as I share my screen with you all real quick, I am going to show you um what the word of the year is. Ladies and gentlemen,
Brain
this
return to Trump. Brain rot. Rot.
that's
Rot
the word of the year, y'all. And this is the
in
Oxford
2024.
Dictionary word of the year
Yes.
2024. And brain rot is what the word of the year is. And just so you all know what the word means, brain rot,
It was right there, right underneath. Yep. In bold.
the deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as a result of overconsumption of material considered to be trivial or unchallenging. Also, something characterized as likely to lead to such deterioration.
Can you read how this word was selected? It's the first sentence under why brain rot.
Uh yes, let me pull that right back up.
Because we
Bear
have
with
a
me.
brother on here that ridicules this word being selected and
So
doesn't respect the institution.
so the reason why it says after over 37,000 votes worldwide, public discussions and analysis of our language data, we have named brain rot as the word of 2024.
Mm,
Now, brain rot is a real word, just in case those of you who do not believe that it's a real word. It was first recorded,
there
the
you go.
use of it was first recorded in 1854 by Henry David Thoreau
Yes, sir.
in a
And
book that he wrote called Walden. Just so for those of you who don't believe that brain rot is a real and official word,
hmm
it is.
we've been using it for what 100 like 80 years or something like that. 170 years. Yep. So
Hey,
most
Doc,
definitely.
how do you feel about the word brain rot? I think it's a great word of the year. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's a good word of the year too. I mean, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't say it's a great word. I wouldn't say it's a amazing word. I know just like the N word that people use the N word is a slang. So now brain rot is a slang, but it's brain rot. And if y'all want to take brain rot, you take brain rot. I don't know the significance and how that helps out what we're
No, you group
trying.
it up. You group it up, but you group it together in the same class with
I group it together in a
NIWG.
word that another distraction in this world of what was really
Brain rot is a distraction. Okay.
yeah. I mean, we take the word from 20,000 years ago and put it up, but what is it really saying? And what are we trying to say here? What are we trying to tell the people about brain rot? Okay, brain rot, and
What
Brain rot. Brain rot is people not knowing the duties of these three branches, the separation of powers and the checks and balances, right? That's brain rot, not knowing civics, basic civics, right? Not
so
knowing how
that
to communicate this. Brain rot is why is only Bernie Sanders, right? The one doing tours, town halls you spoke of, tours, anti-oligarchy tours. And we're gonna get into the archies and the ocracies and all of those, right? And the isms.
Mhm.
We're gonna get into that. But now he's doing the anti-oligarchy tour explaining to people the basics, explaining to people before these branches, it was the divine king of rights, talking about the kleptocracy, the technocracy, right, of the big billionaires, that he has a narrative. He's not just reactive or reactionary. We need that too, from the AOCs to powerful sister Queen Jasmine Crockett, right? We need that, but you need to have a narrative, right? Somebody, whatever, take it mantle, fight, right? The brother's 83 years old. If he was 20 years younger, cool, but it's a wrap, right? For him being president, but that's where it's just somebody gotta take that same populist messaging and you don't have that. So, anyways, brain rot is you know, him being the only one doing that. The 83-year-old is pretty much leading the party. If you see, as far as the town halls and the groups, the numbers that he gets, and he shows you how to know, not the billionaires. Hakeem Jeffries, disgusting, disdainful. Hakeem Jeffries, and so not Brooklyn and everything, right? Like going to Silicon Valley, please, please. You know, we're sorry. You know, there's some good billionaires. Give us some money. What?
Yeah, but speaking of
Anyway,
brain rot and why I think it's a great pick for the year,
yeah.
it says the deterioration of one person's mental or intellectual state. Look at all these Trumpsters. Look at just
That's what you
have you
correlate that
ever
to,
heard
huh?
the interviews or questions that they've asked some of these Trumpsters? Hold on. All right. Forget about people who voted for Trump. Let's
Hmm.
look at his cabinet.
Thank you.
Let's
Yo,
look
I
at
was just about to say
Elon
Musk.
Musk.
Thank you, brother. Thank
People
you.
in Trump's own cabinet have no idea what these people are doing.
This is our
How are
top
they
one, by
vetted?
the way.
Look, let's all right, let's get
Get
into
into
it.
it. Get into the list.
Let's talk about big balls. Who the hell is big balls? We aka little balls.
Tiny. Mhm.
Constantine, he's 19 years old. He dropped out of Northeastern University. His grandfather was a ex-KGB informant. He got a job in tech and he was kicked out or fired because he was leaking information. These are the people who are in power,
Mhm.
in control of our data and our information. Brain
Mhm.
rot is a perfect word to explain where we are as a society today.
And speaking on Elon, you know, he was at CPAC with the chainsaw because he feels like he's taking a chainsaw to the government, right? And he is. And he was in some sort of, I guess, prick shades on with his red chainsaw on stage and high out of his mind on ketamine, unable to string together one single sentence at all, no coherence. They say this man is a super genius. No, no, no. That's where people don't understand that, you know, no, billionaires are all about not paying taxes. They learn how to not pay
Mhm.
freaking taxes first and foremost, right? The damn IRS be damned, right? And so that is just just where people conflate the two. This man has some of the best engineers under him and everything, right? But he himself, you know, you ever just listen to his interviews, man. I mean, yeah, it'll be a giveaway. But go ahead though.
A dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so crazy. And we are in the ROT moment. Is that right, Kurt? We in the ROT moment?
This rot, the return of Trump is, you know, this orange guy, man. He's pruning. I mean, ripening by the day. Rot. Uh, his return of Trump, brain rot, and this is that era, man. And that's where you know we tried to give. I mean, you can't see it on this one, but Project 2025 era is executive. Capitol riot era, where that just you know you see how those pardons went down. Even the violent ones, and this was supposed to say the Dobbs decision era, but it says the no Roe v. Wade era, right? At the bottom under the judicial, because rights are being turned back. They're trying to make America great again for a certain population, right? But it's backfiring already. And yeah,
Yep.
man, Musk and Doge, but you know, big balls. My bad. Go ahead. We
No,
about to say
no, go
something.
ahead, King. You hit the nail right on the head what we was about to talk about. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. The other thing is that he's a major neo-Nazi, right? Like confessed. So even you know, what I call him, Nick the Nazi, Nazi Nick Fuentes, Nick the Nazi. If you ever know Nick Fuentes, he's a self-confessed and proclaimed fascist, you know, lover of Hitler, all of that. And he said on his channel like the other day, maybe 2 days ago. So he said, all right, man. I think y'all going a little too far. Did y'all see Steve out Nazi in the Nazi, bro? He said, did y'all see Steve Bannon? You know, he did a thing and then he just did a Roman salute. Instead, right, he just did a Roman salute. Like that's a Nazi salute. It's like he said, did y'all seeing this? Okay, we're okay with this, huh? All right. I think maybe we need to tone it down a bit. This is him saying, because you know he wants to be slick and subtle about his fascism, right? About this being a once in a thousand year chance at a Reich, at a third Reich or a fourth Reich. But that's why you know I sort of proverbially love Trump in the sense that he lifts up the skirts. Sorry, go ahead.
And just for the record, if for those of you who don't know what we are talking about when it
Yeah.
comes down to the Nazi salute,
The only way we don't have victory if we surrender. The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight. Amen. God bless you.
Now,
Mark.
some may say that wasn't a Nazi salute. Some may believe that he has a past and he was just, throwing his hand out there. I guarantee you, if it were any three of us went on here, it's like, fight. Cancellations coming across the board. Shit. Anytime you say anything, even if it's a conversation about Jewish people, it's considered anti-Semitic. Brothers have been canceled, sisters have been canceled or frozen and said, stay in your place. But these men come out on stage and do it blatant in the face, and they get a pass. It's still questioned. Oh, that really wasn't. I don't know. Doc, you said that
The ADL was, the ADL who was the canceller, right? And they was like, no, he was excited, autism doesn't know.
Doc, do you believe it was a Nazi
but
salute?
he's a super genius.
I just saw that. Yes, I do.
What, the Steve Bannon joint?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you distinguish the Steve Bannon salute from the Elon Musk salute.
Yeah. Elon Musk. I don't know. I really don't
You
know.
feel like he might have really been saying his heart goes out to you.
Out here saying that it was when I don't know. When nobody really knows.
Right.
Nobody really knows. You could assume, but you know that Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon likes to bring up from his radio show to the time he went to jail, likes to start controversy. So I believe that he did that because I believe that he did that to make it look like and to make it more of a point that that Musk did it. I think he's trying to make them pride. That's what I think. That's what I think that.
And Musk joking about it after about with Goebbels and Hitler's generals in a tweet or an X whatever. No, I'm never calling it X. X only belong. By the way, it don't belong to space. X don't belong to Twitter. It belongs just to Malcolm. That's how I'm always going. I'm always quoting it as Twitter. Anyways, that being said, SpaceX. I mean, whatever. He did his tweet and it was making fun of the Holocaust in a way with words. That's like right after he did that salute. And then the next day or the day after, he spoke to the AfD, which in Germany is a far-right party in Germany. And the German government said that they called them a Nazi group. And they are, have been outlawed sort of thing, right? But they are at least from really having a chance to seize the political party. Marie Le Pen, who's radical in France and stuff, said that they way too radical. All the radicals called them Nazis. Is that right? And that's who Elon Musk spoke to a couple of days after, shortly after that Nazi salute. So no, is that not adding on or piling on?
With all that being said, that's understood. With all that being said, that's understood. But people, just to make it simple for everybody out there, Elon Musk's mother was a Nazi. So yeah, but still, I'm not going to sit here and say that he just stuck his hand up like that because he was trying to represent his mother and all his other programs, because it didn't look, nobody knows if it looked like that, but definitely with what's his name just now, it definitely looks like that. That's just like saying, like what you just said about X, right? X is, to me, X is just X. Doesn't matter what it is. That means X. It doesn't matter. It's X. I don't think that he took the X, and I don't think you think that, and used the X because of Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X, after that, he was no longer Malcolm X. It was Malik Shabazz. So
I understand that. Like just I mean, that's true, and people need to know that.
And things that these symbols, and this is what I think. I think that these symbols and these signs that we see right now, if we know, like, say you want to go around and saying that he did it, okay, fine, he did it. Now what? Let's talk about how much of a threat Trump is and his administration is to the world. I mean, and not only to us, but to the world. And how right now Ukraine is trying to figure out if they're going to sell themselves to America to keep alive. Because Trump is actually sitting in there talking to them about, you give us your minerals and maybe we'll protect you. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it is important, though, to to recognize what is being put out there and what people are following and signing up, what they signed up for.
Well, they know what they signed up for.
I find it,
Anybody who voted for Trump knows what they signed up for.
no, I
They
don't.
know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it
I
falls
don't
back.
think that. Yeah, with Elon Musk. Sorry, Donald.
No, go ahead, King. That's fine.
Just in what you're saying, I don't believe so either. In terms of people didn't realize how much they were voting for Elon, how how much of a female dog Trump is, as far as really subservient and acquiescent to whatever Elon says first. He's typically agreeing. Steve Bannon, as you bring him up, right? Yeah, he got problems with Elon, but he's a cornball. He's fake because he's not even, if you got a problem with H1B, Trump came out and said, yeah, nah, Elon's right. You ain't say nothing about Trump. You're never gonna say nothing about Trump, and that's all MAGA. You're never gonna say nothing about Trump. The people that was in the town hall wilding out that you're talking about, that's not MAGA, right? That's just Republicans who one of them said, I thought he's a business guy, I thought he'd be efficient. The myth of Trump, right? Efficient business, the bankruptcy king, right? The efficient business. Okay, they just gave $200 million to the DHS, right, for them to have some sort of photos of Trump, for them to be out there showing photos of Trump and other things he's been doing. $200 million for photography. Yeah, you are so efficient, bro. Right? That's what the DHS, what we want them doing. But yeah, man, Musk and Doge. Musk, it's just crucial. That's what Musk has to do with it. He is essentially co-president right now. That's what it's seeming like. He's meeting with Indian Prime Minister Modi, right? As what? As a government employee, special government employee, or as a businessman, right? Why aren't you? Why are you firing? We got to get to that. That's like the number two, I think, or number three as far as the executive branch firings en masse, the threats, email threats being sent to national security longtime experts saying, okay, I need you to justify your job. Show me what you did this past week via email, or face being, face termination, or expect your resignation. All right. Like, what, who? And you got the head, one of their legal heads, saying, do not respond to this email. Right? Like, it's just war taking place within the branches right now, within the executive right now. You got Trump's appointees standing up to Musk. Musk is wreaking havoc, bro, and Doge is wreaking havoc. They are not accountable. They are not confirmed by Congress. You've got a nightmare on your hands. Judicial branch is not being adhered to. This is the closest you've been to Andrew Jackson. Okay, Chief Justice John Marshall has set his order. Now come let him enforce it, right? All the power, as much as you want, whatever. These elitist founding false fathers and everything, at the end of the day, they created a system where the executive can always have much more power than the other two, because this is the enforcer. This is the one over the military. This is the one over the FBI and the Department of Justice. This is the one, over the National Guards in every state if they want to federalize them. So yeah, man, you wanted to. This is what not knowing the branches. This is what brain rotten produces and stuff, brother. So yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Musk and
crazy,
Doge.
man. I
Cut
just
cancer research. We can go on and on. Cut cancer research. Fire the FAA. You don't even understand. We don't even understand in long terms. Oh man, why is bird flu like really out of hand? Or maybe it has something to do when you fired those USDA employees and everything, right? You don't even really be understanding, what it is when you firing these people. And this government, this huge bureaucracy, right? It is not built to withstand those type of cuts, at the speed at which it is happening. It's not anyways. So yeah, that's, you can go in, man, just on Musk
hey
and Doge.
hey man, we Martin used to tell people about this for a while, and
That's why he's fidgeting over there.
Martin,
Yeah, he's trying to keep it in. He like Mike
he-
Tyson biting the glove.
he's trying to keep it. I just want to I'm gonna share my screen real quick, just another reminder of what we're living in right now.
Documenting our country's history.
You mean the Constitution?
Nope.
The Declaration of Independence?
Yes, again.
The Federalist
The
Papers?
Federalist. What? No. Even more important than whatever you just said. Now sit right here and I'll tell you all about me. I'm just a little paper for the ages. A way to set the government straight. A short 887 pages on how to make America.
Sorry,
887 pages. Heavy how they just did that. Love it.
Hey, we are living in the Project 2025 era, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case y'all
Yes.
don't know, and if y'all
Going
don't know
over our
about
top five.
Project
Go ahead.
2025 right now, if y'all don't know about it, definitely it's too late. It's too late because it is literally happening right in front of our faces. Right? So the birthright citizenship.
Oh, is that
Oh yeah, we
okay.
didn't. So well, let's go to the second one. Sorry, we
Well, we were
executive
speaking
fight.
about it a bit, but yeah. Yeah. hmm
So
We can give it some
should
more
we stay
attention.
at number 2 or should we go into number 3?
Number two is mixed in with number one, and we could definitely dip into number three. I just want to say also, like the first firings that went down were the IGs. They fired the inspector generals first. Doge is doing most of the firings. Yeah, we know and stuff. So yeah, that's that. But go ahead. Number three, King.
Nah, just the birthright citizenship.
What's that about?
Let's talk about the birthright citizenship just a little bit, and you know, uh, and what has happened with the birthright citizenship, and what it actually means. So, if it's the 14th Amendment, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
Constitution.
Yes, sir.
And just so people know what the birthright citizenship is, right? It was confirmed by the Supreme Court in 1898. And what it does, it grants citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of their parent status, with exceptions to children of foreign diplomats. And so this is also one of the things that they are, if they haven't removed it yet, they are actively working to remove it.
Yeah, not nearly simple at all to be able to do something like that, like changing, playing around with amendments, especially amendments that old.
That's very hard.
That was that case that you gave. We can go into that process in a second, but that case that you gave, well, just basically that's what you call case law, precedent. That's the law being challenged, and now this making it official. But the law became law 30 years prior to that, right? In 1868, it was enacted in 1868 by Congress. This is what you call one of the three Civil War amendments. The 13th that outlawed slavery except for prison time. Right, you can be enslaved if you get locked up. The second one was the 14th Amendment that has multiple clauses, and I believe it is Clause C, or it could be, yeah, anyways, I think it's Clause C that deals with basically it settled the issue of African American citizenship and stuff like that, that everyone is a citizen if they've been born here. So that's it written there. And that's sort of debunk or overturning the Dred Scott decision, if you will, too, right?
Yep.
Where there are no rights that a black man has to which a white man is bound to respect, in the words of Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, is what he said to Judge Scott. All right, that was 57. So fast forward, in 68, you have the 14th Amendment that guaranteed citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, 1870s, gave us the right to vote. Black men, not sisters, no white women, right? Black men the right to vote.
So if
But
that is
they're trying to end that.
overturned, if they get rid of the birthright citizenship,
The language is too
which
clear.
is, you said the language is not clear.
The language is too clear by
Oh
all
yeah,
judicial and legal experts that once you're born here, you are a citizen.
period.
Right. And yeah, absolutely. And um Congress, as far as he has Senate and House of Representatives, still takes 2/3 of both those houses, right? So 66 senators and about, I don't know, it's 435 House of Representatives. So 2/3 of that, right, all have to agree, and then it has to go through another process, right, of like reconciliation of some sort. But in order to change an amendment, and that has not happened, or an amendment has been added. I think the last one was in the 70s. But outside of that, yeah, amendments haven't been changed since like maybe prohibition and stuff, right? That was what, the 19th Amendment, and then the 20th, or the 18th and the 20th, it being repealed. So it's a very hard process. The Constitution is one of those. I
Judges
see
are
it
already blocking it anyway.
already. You got it. You got it.
Right. Judges are already blocking that. So, hopefully it just continues to be blocked. But I think that he'll use the Civil Rights Act to trying to get rid of that, to attack that part of it too. It's just so much that he can do just to see how far he can go, you know?
Yeah,
But
man.
so I mean, that's deep.
Oh, the Civil Rights Division too, man. Since you bring that up, you know they gutted the Civil Rights Division once they got into office of the Department of Justice. But then he got tight. He being Trump who was doing a press conference. You can never take that away from him. He always right. He's doing press conference. So he's doing a press conference, and he was talking to the governor of I think New Hampshire. Right, it was governors there. It was a governor's like sort of press conference, and he was like, did y'all end those DEI programs? And they're like, yo, just boss like mafia boss. Right? Did y'all end those DEI programs over there? Because I think she asked him something, and she was like, we
Yeah, I
respecting the
saw that.
law. We're applying the law, right? I'm not respecting the law. And he was like, oh, you better end those programs, because
Yeah,
I'll cut
getting
your
them
funding off, right? And everything, I'll cut your funding off. And she was like, I see you in court. Oh, you see me in court, huh? You see me?
yeah,
Oh yeah, you
yeah.
see me in court. Yeah, all right, all right. And then they sent the letter. The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division sent the letter. Yo, we need a report on. Go ahead, Donald. What you see?
No, but he also said to her, "We'll see if you ever be in politics again after
Oh
this."
yeah. That's right.
He
That was
threatened her
Detroit. That was Detroit.
job
Right. Tom
for
Homan
upholding
threatening
the law.
AOC. Tom Homan threatening AOC for informing her informants. Oh well, maybe she needs to be investigated. Right. This is the same one that said we want to dig in Mayor Adams' butt. Right. And stuff. Yeah. This is Tom Homan, border czar. And so this is the
Crazy.
crew. It's the crew, man. It's the crew. We got Cash Patel running the FBI. We got Dan Bongino from Fox News. I think Deputy Director of the FBI. We got Pete Hegseth from Fox News, the head of Department of Defense, the Secretary of Defense. We've got news analysts. We've got children's book authors. Cash Patel is the author of Trump is the King and they stole the election, something like that. Children's book.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy, man. You got
We got
all these people are trying.
WWE presidents running
Uh-huh.
education.
Birthright citizenship. Oh, so hold on. Oh, everybody in Canada about to be a citizen, 51st state. Go ahead.
And then they're trying to block not only that because of our time thing going on right now, but you got Joy Reid losing her job,
The
and
readout.
but not only that, I think it was 4 other shows that lost
Oh
on her
yeah,
saying,
Ayman Moyhelden, the Egyptian brother.
yeah, 4 other
Yeah, it's a
Laura
few of them.
Coates. The only reason Laura Coates didn't lose her show is because she's on so
She's
late.
CNN. She's CNN.
Right, and they're attacking everybody. They're attacking all of the news
Well, that's where they
outlets.
got the person that's firing Rebecca Butler. She was the head of talent over at CNN. Right. It's the head of talent that sends them letters out and stuff. But
And
yeah,
it's gonna keep going on and on. So when we talk about like what we were talking about before, when it came to brain rot and stuff like that, I just think it's just more deeper than that because they're attacking the news because some of the news that's getting out is some of it is good news, some of it is fake news, but they're going to attack the news that's not on their side.
and
Project 2025 said all of this. And I think, just let me get back to what y'all was saying earlier, just really quick. I think that when we say brain rot and we say, these people didn't know, we're giving the voters of Trump, the 74 million people, I think at least 60 million of those people knew exactly what they were doing when it came to white supremacy, when it came to changing education, when it came to abortion, because a lot of them are Christian, heavy Christian right people, evangelistic Christian. I know exactly what they were doing. And I don't like to give, me personally, people who do things like that, bad people. Everybody's got issues. I'm not saying bad. I'll reframe that. Instead of saying bad people, people who know exactly what they're doing in the American government, credit because they didn't know or they had this brain rot. I understand. Some people may have brain rot.
What are you calling them? You said you didn't call them bad people. What are you calling them kind of people?
Well,
Belligerent?
I think biblically sometimes, so my lens is different because everybody in this world is bad. Ain't nobody good in this world.
Okay.
That's just my thinking, the way I think. So no, I just call them intentional racist. People who intend, and even when they don't know, people who actually are racist and they just don't want to admit it, but they'll vote that way. And then when they get shot in the foot, they're like, oh man, I made a big mistake. How do I clear this up? So I'll go to the town hall and I'll say what I have to say. I may not be MAGA, but I vote MAGA-like. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to give them they're stupid or their brains are rotted credit when they actually knew, especially the educated. Just look like Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz knows exactly what he's doing every day. He's an educated guy, just like those guys on Fox. And I'm gonna
but the people who voted for Trump, I don't think they knew, because a lot of them are starting to get shot in the foot.
You're giving them too much credit.
The Latinos, all the Cubans, all the the Southerners, the low income people.
They didn't know. The Latinos didn't know, but they followed the people that they admired the most, which to me is just like the same thing of knowing. If you're following an ignorant person, just for following them, when you got other people that are on your side, black people that are on your side, telling you, look, man, don't do this, they're going to get you. And you still do it because you're following the way that the system is saying, especially if you say you're a Christian and all this stuff, and you're following it, right? Especially if you say you're a Christian, you're following what the world does. When your own people are telling you, are the people who've been oppressed in this country for years, have gone through this before. We've been through this a lot of times. This is not the first time that we've been through this. That's why I'm not really afraid and scared. But what I'm trying to say is that you got Latino people that'll go, no, 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 no. You don't know what you're talking about. They're not, and they know that we know what we're talking about, but they still, I'm not giving them the credit. I'm not giving them the ignorance thing. I'm not handing you, oh, you're ignorant and I'm sorry for you. I'm not doing that. I've never done that. And if you know me, I've never done that. I've never said that I'm giving them an excuse. So I just don't like to use slang words to describe something that people actually know that they know what they're doing. That's
so
all.
You're basically quoting Martin Luther King: sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. I mean, that's basically what you're saying. I just can't give him a pass though, man.
That's what he feels like. He feels like you're giving him a pass by saying brain rot. He feels like brain rot is a pass.
Oh, it's brain rot.
Is a pass.
They're just retarded. They're just
stupid. There's multiple. It's true. Two things, 3, 4, 5, 6, and things can be true.
I don't want to talk about brain rot, but I'm just saying that I don't want to give them.
It could be more than that.
Giving them a pass.
Yeah, it could be malice, intentional malice. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not going to be the one that's going to be saying, "Oh, well, I don't think y'all knew what y'all was doing." When they shoot themselves in the look, white women were getting paid from affirmative action. They were getting jobs in the world from affirmative action. And yet the ones that didn't come out to vote and the ones who voted for Trump, which not a lot did, but the ones who voted for Trump are actually saying, oh, now we lost our jobs. Or now, and then you got Latinos saying, yo, they sent my husband back to wherever. Yo.
Yeah. So we could briefly talk about that, like DEI. We know that the reversal of DEI and just DEI in general did not benefit Black folks. The DEI benefited majority white women.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's nothing. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that.
I see there's something wrong with that.
I don't think that's because it wasn't. What? Say that again. It wasn't made.
It wasn't made for them.
All right, we'll talk about that on the next one. But
that's a part of this.
No,
please elaborate.
We got to talk about. That's another long.
We got
story.
12 minutes. Okay.
That's a long.
Okay, you feel like DEI was made for
it's not that I feel
more
like
than
it.
just Black
you
people,
read
people of
what
color.
DEI was about.
Diversity, equity. So you're talking about women. You're talking about women, just right there in general. You're talking about women then.
Women,
diversity.
We just said earlier that women were the last to even able to vote. Black men were right.
Yeah, 19,
so there's
18.
a lot of women that were disenfranchised and also discriminated against. Right?
Absolutely.
Now,
so you're talking about white women. Yeah, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go out and just say, oh, it was just for Black people, because everything is not just for Black people. In this country, it's not. Even if it is, it's not supposed to be. And if we stop looking at it like that and start looking at it in another way, then we'll get what we want. We get what we'll need. But we don't pay enough attention to DAI
you think so though, Doc?
Oh, if we pay attention and we actually have a plan and a strategy, I know for a fact we'll get what we need out of it, because we know a culture that gets what they need out of the system, and those are the Jewish people in this country, especially.
That even has something to do with supremacy as well, though, Doc.
Stuff is not for them. Stuff is not for them in some cases, but they pull it. They pull stuff.
Can I ask you a question with the statement that you just made? That's a very, very, very bold statement. That's a very bold statement. So do you think there was ever a time in history that we didn't have a plan?
Oh no, there was a time in history we had a plan. We had a plan during Reconstruction. We had a
And what
plan
happened?
during a certain amount of time. We had
What
so many
happened?
different plans. Drugs were put into our community. There's all different things that would happen that would be put into the community that distracted us.
Even before drugs, you talked about the Reconstruction era. What happened after Reconstruction?
I don't know what did I have no idea.
Ooh.
I don't know anything about that. You tell me.
Okay, Martin. All right. Okay.
I don't. Tell me.
Okay. You don't know what happened after Reconstruction era, Doc?
Nah, man. Nah.
You're a smart man.
I
So
don't
you
know
think
what
you
happened
plead-
after
you plead the
Reconstruction.
fifth?
I don't know what happened
Because you said that we didn't have a plan. You said once we have a plan.
during that time.
Hold on. But did you not say
I
that
don't- okay, I
once
said
we
that,
have a
but I don't
plan
know.
like them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, you're gonna do that.
How many
Okay,
times I gotta say that?
okay, Martin.
Thank you.
Okay, because you just made a bold statement. You said that until we get a plan, then we gonna be in the same boat. Basically, is what you're saying. We
I didn't
don't
say it
have a
like that
plan. And then I asked you a
sarcastically,
question.
but
I
I
asked
did.
the question: did we not ever have a plan? You said yes, we had a plan. You said during Reconstruction. So therefore, that shows that you know something. But if you want to plead the fifth and act dumb, and say, I don't know. What happened? I don't know, Johnny. All right, cool. We gonna go with it. We'll go with that then, Martin.
We'll go with that next time.
Okay.
Well, you know, just for the viewers' sake and stuff, right, who might not know, the Reconstruction era officially lasted from 1865, right after the Civil War, till 1877, and ended with the Rutherford B. Hayes, Tilden Hayes Compromise, where Samuel J. Tilden from New York won the popular, but the ticket was given to the Democrat Rutherford B. Hayes, and you had the military protection pulled out of the South, and yeah, it was Pickens. You know, welcome to the birth, really, of Jim Crow, and you could say the birth of Jim Crow. You could say from 1877 to 1896, where Jim Crow becomes official. Plessy v. Ferguson, separate but equal. I mean, separate but equal, right? And that also 1896 sparking the nadir of U.S. race relations. That is an era that you guys can look up. It sort of coincides and overlaps at times with the Gilded Age, and it lasted from 1896 to about, some sources like John Hope Franklin might give you 1923 or 1954. 1954 is the beginning of the civil rights era and stuff, right? So you could say the nadirs from 1896 to 1954. And Jim Crow is 1877 to 19, civil rights movement, right? And so we get that. So chronology helps, good people. We was talking about birthright citizenship, and yeah, that was number 3 as far as our top 5 people in this heavy half. We're going into the top 5 craziest things that happened since the return of Trump, right, in 2025, and brain rot being the word of the year 2024. That is what some of this conversation has also been centered around. Our beloved third brother Martin is not a big fan of the slang, but he is working with it, right? I believe that number 4, right? Just to knock that out. What was the event that took place at the White House a couple days ago?
Oh,
The
Black
Black
History
History.
Month.
So-called
Yeah.
Black History
Black
Month.
History Month at the White House. Black History at the White House. At the Trump White House, man. Look, what happened about Tiger Woods? Something about, I had a question because y'all was talking. Did Tiger Woods have his black card
I can't
reinstated
pronounce the
or
word. He
revoked?
said-
Was it reinstated?
No.
Well, he said I think he's working with right now. He's working with Trump on some type of golf course or something. But he was put in that. He was put in there as he was kind of honored that day as being a prominent African American, a Black American.
Right, because he used to describe himself as a Bacchanalian or something like that. What was it?
Camelasian, a
Bacchanal?
Camacasian.
Oh,
I don't
Camelasian.
know.
Okay.
Bacchanal is Trini dancing.
No,
It's
Bacchanalian?
Swedish and all these other races smashed together, and he never wanted to be seen as just a Black man. So
Right.
he was there. I forgot who else was there, but there was no doctors, there were no lawyers, there were no congressmen, there were no prominent educated people. They're just all entertainers, and they were mostly.
Do we know who
Martin,
was
did you
there?
say? Martin, did you say? Didn't you say Kodak Black? No, Kodak Black was at the inauguration, the inaugural ball.
Yeah, the
Martin,
other rapper that was there. I
did
can't
you
remember.
say that social media reinstated his black card, Martin? Is that what you said? About Tiger Woods?
Yeah,
You
is
know,
he back in the black community? Do
never
we
was.
He never was.
who else was there at this inauguration? I mean,
But
at this Black
let's
History.
just
What
because
do you
we running low
call
on
it?
time, I'm gonna just hit number five as Martin looking that up. Top five. Okay, so this top five crazy events since the return of Trump. Right, and I guess we spoke about basically good people that the 2020s, how eerily similar they are to the 1850s in more ways than one.
Oh yeah.
Right, and I just want to say, because to the whole brain rot thing, whatever slang or colloquialism or formal word, regardless, we are well into the plot of Idiocracy. If you are not familiar with that movie,
Hmm.
it came out in I think '05, and supposedly it takes place in the year 2505. Right, we're in 2025, but it only takes place in 2505. I mean, we're like one State of the Union speech away from water being replaced by Gatorade, just like how it was in that in that movie. And so, I mean,
That's a
this will
fact.
be yo people. It's just intellectualism is made fun of, articulation is made fun of in that movie and everything, right? You speak like how we're speaking right now and everything. Why you speaking gay? Why you speaking gay? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny, but
right.
so true,
It hits
man.
you
It's
just
so
for like
it's
it's crazy.
crazy. Yo, I gotta ask a question on this
Uh-huh.
point. Do you
Terry
think
Crews is the president, by the way, and everything.
that yo, but
Idiocracy.
do you think or do y'all think that another civil war is going to happen?
Um, Nazi salutes are not a good sign, but I'd say that I'd say that it it definitely would not be anything like the original, right? Which is still the deadliest war in American history to this day, well over 600,000 casualties. That's all right. And that's because all the casualties are American, right? So on both sides. But yeah, the Civil War would be it's a lot of just like how there was sectionalism back then. The sectionalism is different. It's not simply based off a free or slave state, right? That's not a thing. It is urban versus rural, right? It is classes, billionaire, or just the whole Karl Marx, right? Proletariat, working class versus the bourgeoisie, right? Um, this again, I said we was going to talk about some crises. I mean, not democracy, which is people power or rule of the power, ruled by the people, Crates. But we was gonna speak about plutocracy and aristocracy, and we ain't got no time to really touch on all of that. But knowing about what a kleptocracy is, which is a government that's ruled by theft, right? And that's what's taking place to this government right now. I am a fan of a country that's never much been a fan of me or my people, in my historical opinion. And stuff by historical opinion, I mean from my studies of history. Uh, but yeah, the 2020, there's not too many, not too much in-depth education and just conversation is had about that decade of the 1850s, right? That's the things that sparked off
The
all
Civil
the way
War.
leading up to 1860 and the election of Lincoln. Y'all see, I sent y'all that picture from New York and 101 Objects, talking about the Republican ticket being a thing, physical thing that was born in New York when Lincoln when back when New York mattered. Lincoln, yeah, pretty much New York turned it around for him, sort of like how South Carolina turned it around for Joe Biden in 2020. New York
Hmm.
turned it around for him, and he won this state. And yeah, the Republican Party is born essentially, right? He won that election, and not too long after, South Carolina concedes and fires on Fort Sumter soon after, but Fort Sumter, excuse me. But who inspired that? There's groups that they don't tell us about, right? In school, maybe you're probably going to hear about Uncle Tom's Cabin, 1852. So they're important. That's important, right? That sort of was the abolitionist 50 Shades of Gray of its day, in the sense of it was viral, it was popular, and everybody was reading it in the abolitionist community about this runaway slave named Uncle Tom, right? Josiah Henson, his real name. Uh, but you had the fire eaters, y'all. Google the fire eaters, who's really the people that was inspiring or war hawking or like, yo, let's secede, let's reinstitute the transatlantic slave trade, all of that, right? You had the All of Mexico movement where they wanted to take over all of Mexico. You got the Knights of the Golden Circle. You got Lincolnia, Panama, which is where Lincoln was he considered sending us to, as if we like, just get rid of them. Let's send them all to Panama. Or let's send them to Ile Vaca, which is like Cow Island or Pig Island in Haiti.
Yep.
So, right, send them there, right, or send them to Liberia, anywhere, but here,
Anywhere
right?
except America.
Mm-hmm.
And this is by the
So
late great Abraham Lincoln who was saying.
Yep. The
Just
dehumanization to not understand that, yo, we have stock in this, right? From the military to the economic to the labor, everything, right? We've got stock in this, blood, sweat, tears in this. So no, this is home from now. But yeah, man. It was 2020, similar to the 1850s. That's all. Check out the 1850s, good people. Check out Eric Foner. Check out Reconstruction. But Eric Foner is an author of this type of era. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Martin if how he does. Do you think we are entering or possibly entering another civil war?
Do you feel prepared? Are you armed? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't know how to answer that yet, because we don't even know what's going to go on when it comes to this administration and the government. So I don't know. I really don't know. I have hopefully it's not. I have faith in our country and our resilience. I think that somebody's going to step in and stop Trump in some form. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be a federal move or people are going to come up against him, but I think the party may try to stop him.
The Republican Party?
I think both parties will come together and try to stop him if they continue to get into their own, because there's a lot of non-billionaires in the Republican Party. Everybody in the Republican Party is not a billionaire. And when they start getting affected from their children's schools to, their day-to-day, then they'll start saying stuff, So I don't know. I don't know yet. We'll find out, though. We'll find out soon.
Are you going to stay a Republican?
Yeah, I am for now. And the reason I am is because I think that we can change. I think that there's people that can actually, in the party, or people that can join the Republican Party, especially younger people, that can actually change.
You got anybody in there right now that gives you hope?
I don't think there's anybody, because the reason why there's not one is because not one has spoken up yet against this. I mean, if we had somebody like an AOC in there, or somebody that can actually say something,
that's not your team,
in there that can actually stand up, then I would say it. But no, there's not one. There's not one, because they haven't spoke up yet. I'm sure they are, but I'm not going to give them the credit because nobody's said anything yet.
What about Tim Scott
on the other side?
Right. Byron Donalds. You got Byron Donalds.
Yeah, but they don't say anything. They're there. Everybody know. You said cryptography. That's what you said earlier.
No, not the gang. Not the gang. Klep. Yeah.
Kleptocracy. Say it again.
Yep. It's KLEPT. Kleptocracy.
Kleptocracy, right?
Yeah.
That's the type of government
that's ruled by theft.
Right.
Stealing the power.
And it could be stealing. It could be stealing power. It could be stealing stuff for their own agenda. And that's what's going on with Eric Adams all the way to somebody like that, Byron Donalds. And that's both sides of the ticket. So I'm just saying that, that these things happen. These things happen. No, they don't get, they're not even in the category of being even Republicans or Democrats. Some of
them, they act.
Right.
They're acting anarcho-capitalists, man. When you taking the chainsaws to the government, crony capitalist, corporatocracy, technocracy. Go ahead. So,
and once again, I'm not giving them the credit to say that they know that they know what they're doing. They know, and their wives know what they're doing, and their families know it. Their children know what they're doing. They know, people like that know exactly what they're doing. When I meet people, and I'm gonna end it like this: when I meet people that are actually that say they voted for Trump and their children are down with it, because I know a couple of people like that and their husbands are down with it. They all know what they're doing. Ain't nobody fool.
Right.
They know exactly what they're doing. They just don't know
As
how it's going to affect them personally.
as a knowledgeable, intelligent, wise brother in his own and rooted in his own Black history, Black American history, as well as his family history and stuff, and delves into legacy. Are you, as a Black male American Republican, gonna ever give like a mea culpa to the people if it turns out that this, and by mea culpa I mean a full-on confession, I'm sorry and I was wrong, and I repent for being in this party if it brings down the destruction of your country? Do you commit to that right here, giving a mea
No,
culpa?
I don't feel, but because people who know me know why I'm a Republican.
Okay. You
They,
don't feel
they,
responsible.
why should I be responsible for something that
Just promoting a brand that is pretty
no,
radioactive
that's not
to
promotion.
democracy right
The
now.
way I do it is as I don't promote a brand, and
Okay.
I don't promote the Republican
You're not
Party as a brand.
MAGA, but you are Republican. You'd be like another Trumper, right?
No,
That's what
I'm the
they group you in
Republican.
that.
No, I'm the Republican that is an RSL Republican. I'm wearing a shirt that tells you the type of Republican I am. Just like Donald's a Democrat and you're just a free thinker that wears a shirt. So I'm just a human being that's trying to make a change. I'm not promoting any party or any organization. I've never been a organization promoting person because I don't believe in certain organizations. So now people may say, well, what about the church? I believe in God more than just the church. I believe in the body of Christ when they come together and they work together to create things. But I don't believe in any organization, man-made organization, that tells you something, a way that you should think about a thing, whether it be religion to politics. So
Right.
no, I don't have anything to apologize
except for A.R. Bernard. Yeah, go ahead.
Except what? Go ahead. I gotta hear that.
Oh no, I was saying except for A.R. Bernard. Go ahead though. I'm listening. I'm with you.
No, well, once again, A.R. Bernard is an individual.
Right. I was trying to slip that in there. Go ahead.
Let me say that. He's a pastor who happens to be an individual that tells everybody, I'm an individual. Don't follow me, because he was part of the Rosicrucian Society. He was part of all the different Black organizations. He said, don't follow me.
Right.
I mean, don't follow me. Follow what the word. Follow what God says. So, I like a man like that who says that, is because he's actually telling it's thousands of congregations, 1,000 people within his congregation who he is. You know, and that's another reason why so many people admire Trump, because he told everybody supports him exactly who he is.
Exactly. That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So no,
and the Democrats don't have anybody like that right now outside of the 83-year-old youngin holding it down, Bernie Sanders.
Not just you guys.
Democrats
don't.
The Democrats don't. The country has somebody on the right-hand side. The Republicans do. Yeah, they do, man. I mean, you don't got to agree with them, but they Trump, bro. You have no opposite to that right now.
What, the Democrats?
On the other side. Yeah, they have no leader outside of Bernie Sanders, really, but they still haven't learned their lesson to coalesce. And even though obviously he's an
but he's not even a leader. He's not a leader.
He's the one that's tapping into the same populism that Trump does. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but he doesn't call himself like Trump does a leader. He doesn't.
Well, nobody does that. Nobody. Trump is a nut, right? A narcissistic
says, I'm a nut. I'm a crazy nut.
He don't call himself a crazy nut. He calls himself a genius. He's a narcissist. He calls himself a genius, the greatest thinker in the world.
He's a genius. He's the genius that says,
Lord
I can
Jamal.
shoot something in Times Square and I could kill somebody and you still vote for me. And he's right. Now, Bernie Sanders needs to say some shit like that.
No, he doesn't. Bernie Sanders has his own message, man. It's the same. It's just a more smoother version of Bill Burr's. These billionaires are rabid dogs that need to be put down.
Well,
right?
maybe,
that's Bill Burr.
Maybe I think
Bernie
about
Sanders is about income inequality. That's always been his message, and that's going to handle stuff.
Well,
He's just talking about the three. He's talking about
maybe
Bezos.
I'm thinking about it from a military standpoint. Maybe I'm thinking about it from a leadership standpoint when it comes to forcefully leadership. Where people
he is a force. He was always a forceful leader, bro. Like you can't say anything. Yeah, 2016, you got robbed by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic elites. 2020, you got told to stay out. He was beating Biden's behind, right? And then Jim Clyburn backdoor deals, and that's what led to Kamala, anyways. But outside of that, that's what happened to 2020. 2024, nope, we are coordinating
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, right? So you've always not listened to your base. Like, unlike them, they listen to their base. As racist, whatever, supremacist, whatever you want to call it, MAGA is, they listen to them and they loyal, right? You don't listen to the same populist energy that he taps into. He doesn't take billionaire money, right? His campaigns were financed off of small dollar donations. To this day, this 83-year-old is the one that's bringing in crowds, right? Because he's the one that's thinking, yo, we need to do an anti-oligarchy tour, right? And so he's always just had his own proactive message. He's not just reactionary to Trump. And that's why there's a crossover between Trump voters and Bernie Sanders voters. But the elites of the party never embraced them, so therefore they get to choose, not the people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yo, this was a amazing conversation for those of you who joined in. Thank you
That was humble, Martin.
for tuning in. This will be to be continued on Top 5 Tuesdays.
Yes,
We will be back again on Saturday evening.
Yep.
And
7, we said.
Yeah, at 7:00 we'll be doing this again. So hopefully y'all tune in to the next live conversation that we have amongst the trio, the team.
Yes. It might be all heavy back to back Black Fact Saturday. We ain't, we're not settled on it, but yep, I just threw that out there to get your appetites, your intellectual appetites wet. WHET.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And any closing thoughts before we get out of here, y'all?
Can we just all show our 3 branches?
Yeah, just let's know what the government is about. Let's understand what we need to do when it comes to coming together and fighting for our right, whatever it may be, and love one another, man. Be patient and kind to one another.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dig it.
Be patient and
For
kind.
the Legacy Podcast.
Yes, sir. Support what we do. We one last thing I'll say, check out our newest post. Curtis and I went to Greenwood Cemetery and found out another discrimination situation.
Yep. Some heart-wrenching insight and just revelations, for sure.
For sure. So check that out too. And until then, we will see y'all on the next episode of Road to Legacy Podcast, where our objective is to inspire, educate, and influence.
Yes, sir, brother. And sorry to be talking too much, but PS, so postscript. Just know 3 branches, right? To be said, I call them the 3 broken branches. They about to break if they ain't broken already. But to contrast and juxtapose these 3 branches to these 3 brothers that are wearing the 3 branches here, Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. I'll leave y'all with Ecclesiastes, which says a 3-fold cord is not easily broken. This brotherhood I'm grateful for. It's blessed. We are a 3-fold cord that is not easily broken. Love y'all, man. So Road to Legacy Podcast out.
Love you too. Peace.